Previously on Backpacker Diaries.
Yes, sir, Bob and I will be headed northbound towards Glencliff. A snake crossed our path. Maybe that's good luck, but it sure is a sweaty climb.
Once in a blue moon it happens. Once in a lifetime. The one that matters most dearly is right there all the time.
As long as I know there's people coming, I hang out.
13 moons since I left there. 13 more have come and gone. How many moons have kept me company? Now I'm walking in the sun. And I watch the stars wheel across the sky. And I watch the sun fill it up with light.
Like an old friend, these heavier boots here.
And I count the times that I never cried. Oh, I never cried. Times I've been wounded, too many people to see. Behind the mask was a child longing to be free. Another day, another reason, another chance to find my way. One day I'm gonna make it happen before it slips away.
Today is July 22nd. I ended up doing a slack pack over Mt Moosilauke yesterday. The ascent went well, even in these heavier boots, but yeah, I ended up taking a wrong turn on the way down and ended up at a place called the Ravine Lodge. Not part of the plan, but I was able to catch a hitch back to the 7-Eleven where the hostel does a shuttle for picking up food and whatnot and resupplies. So it ended up working out fine. It was a real treat to get above tree line for the first time and get a little taste of what everybody's been raving about with the scenery here in New Hampshire. I'm gonna get shuttled back to the spot where I started yesterday and go in the northerly direction and head deeper into the Whites there. Might stay at the Eliza Brook shelter, and I've enjoyed my stay here at the Hiker's Welcome Hostel, but definitely ready to get back into the great outdoors here in Glencliff, New Hampshire. I'm up and over Wolf Peak now, and a lot of heavy duty rocks and roots on the way to Eliza Brook shelter, and managed to scrape up my leg pretty good there. I mean, it's not like it's broken or anything. It looks worse than it really feels. Yeah, makes me want to stop at Eliza Brook. Got a little bit of a scrape there too on my arm. But also the top segment of the pole with the camera mount on it, a bit busted up now, but still hanging on, and about the same length as the pole that is not messed up at this point. I'm just gonna take it slow and cruise into the Eliza Brook shelter. Today's July 23rd, 2017, and we are at the Eliza Brook shelter and campsite. This is going to be the last free campsite and shelter for a little while, but I also wanted to point out that there's a bear box here. Yay! It's the first one of those I've seen accessible to hikers since Massachusetts, so that's quite a treat. Didn't even have to hang our food to protect from the bears. I was able to check out a weather forecast from just a slight internet connection from the privy there at the last shelter, and it's forecast to be the highest chance of rain between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. today. Hoping I can push up and over South Kinsman and down to the Kinsman Pond shelter before the weather gets bad. It's starting to get windy here, and should be getting above the tree line before long. Yeah, this qualifies as steep all right, but fortunately not slippery yet. Yeah, especially this little doozy here. There's been a few doozies that need to go on hands and knees without poles. Between the Kinsmans now, made it up and over South Kinsman, and about to cross over the other 4,000 foot peak.
And I watch the stars wheel across the sky, and I watch the sun fill it up with light, and I count the times that I never cried. Oh, I never cried.
Today's July 25th, 2017. Enjoyed my first work stay at a hut, the Lonesome Lake hut here. And just a matter of showing up between 3:30 and 4:30 and not having others that have already taken the work stay. As far as the food was concerned, it was quite a feast. Beef stew, turkey soup, black bean soup, bow tie pasta, salad, broccoli, carrot cake, and more. So yeah, quite a treat for not a whole lot of work. So if you're lucky enough to get it as a through hiker, yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. Today, planning to get down into town. Hiker hostels there are definitely a good option. The Notch or Chet's Place are both available there in North Woodstock and Lincoln respectively. So it'll be a good chance to get out of the weather, catch up on laundry and other things. About to wash some dishes, enjoy some breakfast, and be on my way after making sure the place is all clean. Made a town stop today in Lincoln. It's time to get to the chopper. No, not that chopper. Price chopper. Today's July 26th, and we're back on the trail after a night in the squeaky clean The Notch Hostel in North Woodstock, New Hampshire. We've got some really nice weather, quite a contrast to what we've seen the last couple days. And we're about to hopefully enjoy a nice traverse over Franconia Ridge on our way to the Garfield shelter. On your way up Franconia Ridge, there are several occasions in which you'll have to throw your poles and go on the hands and knees. As a reward, got some real nice views. There's Liberty right in front of us. And that tall one off in the distance there is Mount Washington, the big kahuna. It'll be several days yet until I make it over there. but enjoying some stellar weather here. A lot of exposure, finally, but a nice cool breeze. Panning over to the left, we get a view of the Kinsmans. Then straight ahead must be Lonesome Lake. Right there where the hut is, where I did my work first day a couple days ago. So neat to see it from this aspect near the top of Mount Lafayette. Panning over to the south, or the southwest. You can also get a peek at Moosilauke. And no surprise that there's a fairly big crowd up there on Lafayette Peak, and then the Franconia Ridge that leads up to that. So it's about 1,200 feet and 0.8 miles, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, that counts as steep, all right. I'm up here at the junction between the Bond Cliff and the Appalachian Trail. I'm deciding to head down to the Guyot campsite. G-U-Y-O-T, Guyot. It's a little bit off trail, off the AT that is, but given the weather today, the rain just started blowing up in the alpine zone where it's exposed. So yeah, Bob continued down the AT, and I'm gonna move a little more slowly, but it's been a fun 160 miles or so that I've been covering with Bob, but we're gonna go our separate ways because he needs to get into Gorham sooner than I do. So we'll see how I go. Going solo again. Today is July 28th, 2017. And I made it down to the Guyot shelter. It is about 0.8 miles off of the Appalachian Trail. At the time, with the way the weather was threatening thunderstorms and the way that my body was feeling, I did want to get off trail and have a shorter day, and was able to rest and chill out for a bit and hopefully get an early start today on my way over to the Zealand Hut and beyond. There's an Ethan Pond shelter that's, I think, something like 9 or 10 miles past the junction there up at the Appalachian Trail. But got to meet a bunch of weekender type hikers and even a kids camp that stayed here and was fortunately well behaved and got an even earlier start than I did. Anyway, about to enjoy some coffee with my breakfast here and see how I go on my way to Crawford Notch.
13 times around the wheel, every time around gets further away from the sorrow and the pain. Come tomorrow I will rise up again on my own. Nothing holding me down, flying with my feet on the ground.
I stayed at the Ethan Pond campsite last night, and I thought it would be more crowded on a Friday night, but yeah, Had my own platform, which was nice. Hadn't tented in a while, so it was nice to enjoy that privacy and catch up with some thru hikers I met earlier, Rebel Bear, as well as Woodstock, and a couple other section hikers that are poking along at my same moderate pace. Beautiful setting here on Ethan Pond. I had heard about it before coming here, how scenic a spot it was, and yeah, definitely agree with that.
And I watch the stars wheel across the sky, and I watch the sun fill it up with light.
I got to beat feet down to Crawford Notch and hopefully see my ride there around 9 or 9:30. So we'll see how it goes. My arrival here in Crawford Notch, New Hampshire, near Mount Washington, marks about 400 miles for me on this trail, having started from Pawling, New York about 6.5 weeks ago now. And as far as New Hampshire is concerned, I heard a lot about it before getting here, about how exciting the whites were, and how steep they were, and how scenic they were, and they certainly have not disappointed so far. The views from Franconia Notch were especially rewarding. My experience with the AMC huts have been really great so far, actually. They're really friendly to thru hikers or long section hikers as I am. They generally have a hiker box available, and usually they're trying to get rid of some leftovers as well, so they don't have to carry out that food waste. They would much rather feed it to hungry thru hikers and section hikers like myself. Another lesson I've learned outside of don't plan too far ahead is to not trust those first impressions you may get from people on the trail. You never really know where someone is at in their headspace if you're seeing them grinding out a long day on the trail, or maybe getting in late to a hiker hostel. You never really know what they're going through. And there's been multiple times on this hike where I've sort of made a snap judgment about a thru hiker that might be blowing by me at 3+ miles an hour, when in fact I'll catch up with them later on at the shelter. And yeah, they're very sociable and chatty and open. You know, it seems like with the more ambitious hikers that are cranking out 20 to 30 miles a day, you know, more or less a marathon a day, that they have sort of hiking hours that, you know, where they're hiking 3+ miles an hour to get their hiking done for the day. And that's not typically the best time to strike up a conversation with that type of hiker. But if you can catch them later on when they're more, I guess, in lounge mode at the shelter, yeah, there's much more likely to be approachable and sociable and all those things. Certainly the thru hikers that I saw earlier in the trip that had been going at perhaps a more hectic pace did not seem to be enjoying themselves as much. But as the days and weeks progress here, the thru hikers seem to be more into it, especially now that we're in the whites. This is a highlight for many people, understandably so, that are thru hiking the trail here. And certainly meeting a lot of southbound thru hikers in high spirits as well at this point. As for myself, I'll be spending a night in a new hiker hostel located in Lancaster. This hostel is associated with the same one that I stayed at in Rutland, run by the 12 Tribes. So it'll be a treat to get some resupply there and all the conveniences of a hiker hostel stop, and get back on the trail tomorrow here in Crawford Notch.
And I count the ways that I'm gonna try. Oh yeah, I'm going to try.
On the next Backpacker Diaries.
I've only got about 9 days left on the trail. I will definitely be trying to make the most of it over the presidentials and hopefully the Wildcats before I get into Gorham and head out back to Boston on August 6th.